Hi everyone, I'm Melinda, and my project is teaching critical media literacy with technology. I wanted to address a real challenge that I see in classrooms, which is how adaptive programs like iReady personalize instruction, but often leave students feeling confused or disconnected from their own learning process. This project explores how teachers can use AI and digital tools more intentionally to make personalized learning clearer, fairer, and more student-centered. So many classrooms, including my own, rely on adaptive programs like iReady to differentiate instruction. And these tools adjust lessons automatically, but most students don't understand how or why their lessons change. I've definitely noted that with my fourth graders who I'm focusing on in this project. The lack of transparency often causes frustration and a lot of disengagement. Students sometimes zone out, click randomly, or just stop trying because they don't see the purpose. So my guiding question became, how can teachers use AI and digital tools to personalize learning more clearly and equitably for all students? So some of my empathy insights came from some data gathering I did. So for my fourth grade students, I used surveys, observations, and a few informal interviews. And every student had at least a year of experience with Chromebooks and iReady, and all of them used other tech daily, mostly phones or tablets, but a few used computers. About half said iReady was only somewhat helpful. Most couldn't explain what skill they practiced or what feedback meant when we first started. Many felt confused when lesson levels changed or when they got stuck on something. And during observation, I saw a lot of off-task behaviors like random clicking, frequent breaks, asking to go use the bathroom, get water, and a lot of disengagement signs that the system alone wasn't motivating them. And these insights confirm the need for a more transparent, guided, and reflective approach. So from this research, I designed a short mini lesson called What's My Learning Path? Its purpose is to make personalized learning more student-centered and reflective. So the lesson combines iReady, Google Forms, and teacher-guided AI tools like ChatGPT to help students understand how adaptive programs work, how feedback is generated, and how to take ownership of their own progress. So essentially, I want students to see that iReady feedback is kind of a media message, something that they can interpret, question, and use rather than just passively receive. So my lesson sequence is kind of a simple three-part structure. First, I start with them setting a short goal check-in where students reflect on what helps them stay focused and what they want to improve. And then next, they move on to their iReady session while I monitor it in real time using the iReady dashboard and GoGuardian. I can step in with targeted support or a quick ChatGPT generated prompt when needed. And then finally, when they're done with their session, students complete a digital exit reflection. These are done with Google surveys. And I get feedback on what I already told them, how they responded when things got tricky, how they felt. And this helps normalize challenge and build student ownership of their learning process, primarily when we do the discussion portion. So after they fill out the reflections, I am in real time taking a look at them through Google Forms, and I'm noticing any patterns, things that are really standing out to me, and we talk about it as a class. And if I'm seeing a lot of frustration in one area, we kind of target that, and it's a really quick discussion. So this lesson supports digital media literacy in several ways. Students use digital tools like iReady and Google Forms to reflect and engage critically, not just to complete tasks. Reflection prompts help them notice their learning habits and how they respond to feedback, which is essential in developing metacognitive skills. By sharing responses, students also build community and see that everyone struggles sometimes. The process fosters curiosity and helps them think critically about how digital systems shape their learning experiences. Because my classroom includes English learners and students with different readiness levels, I built in some supports for my diverse learners. For example, I use anchor charts with clear feedback vocabulary so students can interpret iReady messages more easily. I also provide audio options and sentence starters in Google Forms to help struggling writers participate fully. And these small scaffolds ensure that all students, not just the strongest readers, can reflect meaningfully on their learning. My design is backed by research on blending learning. So Prescott and Mascaro found that students make greater reading gains when adaptive tools are paired with strong teacher scaffolding and reflection opportunities. Their studies showed that these blended models also help close achievement gaps when students clearly understand their goals. So my mini lesson puts that research into action by combining adaptive technology with teacher-guided guidance to help students become more engaged and more proactive learners. So my next steps, this lesson is an early step in redesigning adaptive learning time to be more reflective and student-driven. If results show improved engagement, clarity, and reflection, then the next phase will scale the model across the classroom and subjects. So possible next steps include adding student portfolios to track progress, integrating AI reflection tools like Magic School, and extending this model into math and science. And the goal is consistent, just to use technology not just to personalize content, but to empower students to reflect, collaborate, and think critically. I also want to make it accessible for parents to view, reporting, and so that they can continue this conversation at home, which will continue to make it more meaningful. So in conclusion, this project helps students take ownership of their iReady learning by making feedback visible and meaningful. Through guided reflection, peer discussion, and teacher-supported AI tools, students build curiosity and they build confidence in tech-rich classrooms. It's a small but powerful shift from using technology on students to using technology with students. So that way they understand and shape their own learning paths. So thank you for listening. I welcome your feedback on how I might be able to refine this prototype further, especially ideas for gathering more student reflection data, or making it easier for students to show how they feel about it.